Yo, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? This is your coach Renz, and I want to thank you for spending a few minutes of your time with me. Tonight, I want to talk to you guys about something that will help many of those of like mind on their journey. It's the same spiritual journey that I began when I was 9 years old, and I want to tell you guys a little bit about that so that you may be able to skip through some of the things that I went through. Now, this was inspired by a comment on one of my older videos where I talked about the big lie, Constantine's big lie. The thing about it, a lot of those videos back then were very, and I still do some of them now, were very just fact-finding videos, historical videos, telling you what happened and when and why and who and what, and so that you can have a deeper and better understanding of your spiritual journey, your spiritual path. Let me first say that everybody's spiritual journey is their own. I'm not promoting for you to come and join me, nor am I promoting that you are doing something that's wrong. If at the end of the day, you feel like what you're doing is the right thing for you, I have no grievance with that. What I have grievance with is when you feel that you have the authority to tell someone else that they're wrong and that their religion is wrong and that they're going to hell and that they're not going to make it to Samadhi and that their karma, dharma is going to get them. When you feel emboldened to tell somebody that, then you have already started off wrong. So I get a lot of comments where people want to debate me, where people want to question and ask, where's your sources? But it really doesn't matter, because if I tell you a source, but the source is not one that you agree with, then you're going to claim that it's been whitewashed or blackwashed or some cultural bias, or that they didn't know this or they don't know that, and you'll point out some other scholar that says something opposite. I mean, you can find a scholar that says something opposite about everything. One thing you can't go against is the fact that when I talked about Constantine's art, you can go and look at it. It's there, or the lack of evidence there. You can just go look. Nothing about being scholarly about looking. If I point out something in Egypt and the hieroglyphs that have been copied by other religions, there's no scholar needed. Just go look. It's there. I mean, if you question what happened at the Council of Nicaea, just read the Latin that was written by Eusebius. Just read it. Or if you question the history, just go read the history that was written. It is not for me to go and, oh, I need somebody else to validate it. That's the thing. That's the problem with a lot of people, is that you need someone else to validate you. And that's what I teach against. As I've said many times before, I can stand on a mountaintop and be the only one that believes in what I know, and yet it doesn't faze me if everybody in the world disagrees, because I don't need your agreement to know the divinity within. And I want you to get there too. I want you to know the divinity within so much that you don't need someone else's validation, that you don't need someone ancient's validation, that all you look at is facts and fiction and decide which one you choose to believe. I can talk about the fact and fiction of the Sinaiticus not having verses that are in the King James Version, to which many have made an entire religion based on those pieces of the King James that is not in any older text of the Bible. Now, if they choose to go that way, that's their own. That's their choice. But yet, they say that I'm whitewashing, or that I might be whitewashing. Well, here's something that I've learned in my journey, and this is what I want you guys who are on this pathway as well to come into an understanding of, is that when I first started my journey, yes, I went through phases. I went through the anger phase. I went through the I don't want anything that's whitewashed, the whitewashing of history, the whitewashing of cultures, the whitewashing of governments and politics. I didn't want to be a part. I didn't want to be a part of any of that. So I went away from that. But where did I find myself? I found myself tracking in the blackwashing of things. Right. See, we don't talk about that part. See, that part right there is probably going to get a little hate mail on my end. But we don't talk about the blackwashing. We don't talk about how people make everything black, or you make everything fit yourself. And see, this is one of the things that I learned on my journey that became vital to my understanding, vital to my seeking of truth. is that every culture, every king, every empire, every conqueror, every oppressed will wash the religion, will wash God to fit them, to fit their struggle. Let me give you something more practical for you to be able to grasp onto. The white Southerners lost the Civil War. But for the white Southerners who are still finding themselves in a situation where they don't feel like they've won, they don't feel victorious, they're financially still struggling, they're middle class struggling, or they're not getting what they believe they deserve, they will latch on to the fact that they were fighting for states' rights, state right to own a slave, but fighting for state rights, that they were rebellious against northern aggression. They will stay and stick right there. They will stay right. They won't move past it. They'll try to keep all their emblems and symbols and try to maintain it because they want to stay right there. In the same way, many black people in America, they haven't felt victorious. They haven't felt that they've come out. They haven't felt that they have the ability to change their stars and create the life that they desire to create. They haven't felt that. They feel like they're still stuck in slavery. And even though this type of life in America today is far and away incomparable to slavery, I'm not saying that there's no oppression. I'm not saying that there's no struggle. But your struggle today is not the struggle of slaves. But we will hold on to what got them through. And if holding on to what got them through is a better day tomorrow by going to heaven in Christianity, then that's what they're going to hold on to. If the struggle was during the time of Malcolm X and Islam, they're going to hold on to Louis Farrakhan and hold on to that because their lives today, they compare it to then because they haven't grown out of the specter that they are under right now. So they hold on to it. Many people will grasp on a part of history in another culture or wherever their ancestry comes from, and they will say that that's the piece. Many hold on to Egypt. Many hold on to Hebrews in West Africa. Many hold on to South Africans. Many hold on to the Irish. Many hold on to the Scottish rebellions. Many hold on to all these different historical time points. The warring states, Japan conquering China, and they'll hold on to it. Hold on. Because their lives today, to them, are a reflection of what that time frame was. And for them, that becomes truth. That becomes truth. It doesn't matter what facts are. That is the only truth that matters. You see, if I was a Hebrew Israelite and I'm struggling here in America and black people are still without power, I can easily convince people that, you see, King James wrote in Deuteronomy that we will sail away on ships and be slaves for 400 years. And that's why we are in this condition, because our ancestors disobeyed, and we got to go back into the root so that we can be a part of it and come back to God, the true understanding, the blackwash God of the Hebrews. And the only reason you're choosing Hebrews is because they had a great PR guy. That PR guy said that Hebrews are the chosen. Now, I could do a whole video about how the tribe of Judah wasn't the chosen, that the promise of Abraham went to a different tribe, not the tribe of Judah, but yet you hold on to it because that's the popular one, because that's the tribe that took over. All right, but you hold on to it. Now, if you go to the Sinaiticus, you go to any book written prior to King James, and that verse doesn't exist. It's not there. But it doesn't matter how much proof can be given to that, you still hold on to it. Then you'll hold on to the fact that there were Christians in Northern Africa before the Romans, and that's cool. There was. But you'll hold on and say that was the lost tribe. But if they're a lost tribe and still a lost, how do you know you found them? You're just making up stuff. You claim the Native Americans are one of the lost tribes. We hold on to whatever piece we can to make us feel comfortable in this world that we live in right now. If that makes a person say that they feel comfortable knowing that they went through 400 years and now they're coming out, they're finna get there, they're finna get their freedom, just gotta get into that groove. If you're a Christian and you're saying that I've been waiting on Jesus and now I look around, I'm seeing wars and rumors of wars and things getting bad, but there's always been wars and rumors of wars. When have there never been not been wars and rumors of wars? When have there not been famines? When have there not been weather cataclysmic events? When have there not been any of those things? They've always been. but it makes you feel comfortable in your struggle. It makes you feel like you don't have to do anything, that you can continue to look outside yourself to find divinity and for the miracles that you can produce inside you. You know, the Buddhists teach that there are no miracles, that what you do, finding your divinity, look inside yourself and producing what you're supposed to and what you're engineered and what you're capable of producing is the miracle. The fact that you can find it, which then makes it not a miracle because you can do it. The Gnostics taught the same thing. Akhenaten, the school of Akhenaten taught the same thing. And the school of Akhenaten, for those who want to hold on to Egypt, instead of focusing on Heru and Aset, maybe you just take a look at Akhenaten. Wonder why he had to bring back that mystery knowledge. Because Upper Egypt conquered Lower Egypt, and they went from 42 and 2 Neteras to 88 Neteras, or 80 and 8 Neteras. And they deemed them deities instead of understanding the nature of them. Because Neteras, where we get the word nature, instead of understanding the nature of them, it's the nature of our divinity. That was the understanding in which Akhenaten wanted to bring back to Egypt, because it was once taught that way until power and money was attained through teaching it as deity. See, I went through these phases. I went through these phases where I was angry about the whitewashing. So I adopted myself to the blackwashing. And then as I began to study and learn more, and as I went to other countries, went to the places where the stories supposedly have originated, as I went to see the documentation myself, you see, I don't depend on scholars. I would rather go and see the writing, see the buildings, see the places myself. That way I don't just read about it, I know about it. It's one thing to see the pyramids on TV, to see a picture of it. It's a whole nother story to walk up next to it and touch it. The Eiffel Tower becomes real when you're standing up under it. You may be impressed when you're not near it, when you don't see it, you see it on TV. When you go up under it, you see it looks like a unfinished construction site to me. But now the view is amazing from the top. The view is amazing. But things become real when you're there. You can talk to me all about the different manuscripts, but I've seen them. I've seen them. I've seen the writings of Eusebius. I've seen them. Studied the Latin. I've read them. So it's different. Now, do I know hieroglyphics? Do I know cuneiform? No. But have I seen the tablets? Have I seen the etchings on the wall? Yes. So it's different when you see them, when you know them, when you know that makes them real. And when you look at, and of course, no one is a 100% knowledgeable about everything. You will eventually have to lean on somebody about something. But one of the things I never have to lean on anybody about is my divinity within. You see, when you understand the Hermetic laws, you don't have to worry about what somebody else's scholarly work or belief has done for you. You just read it and come to understandings for yourself. Many people will say that you shouldn't lean to your own understanding, but why should I lean to somebody else's understanding? I heard a wise person say the other day, and it's the saying that I've heard many times before, that the Bible is not God's inspired word given to man, but it is man's words, man's inspired words to describe God, God's relationship to man. I see all the books that way. The Vedics, the Bhagavad Gita, the Tao, even the Emerald Tablets, they're all man's inspired word to understand how he relates to a creator, to things beyond his understanding, to things above his consciousness. It's all related. And see, I went through where I had to whitewash it, blackwash it, and then I had to look at the different cultures. You see, if I'm King Midas who conquers Lower Egypt, then I'm going to change all the stories to fit me. If I'm Ptolemy and I'm coming into Egypt, and we have a custom of not stealing, as people like to say, but we have a custom called Hellenization of incorporating, merging, of putting together, saying, okay, we have Zeus, And we're going to make Zeus and Ra the same. We have Hercules. We're going to make Hercules and me, Ptolemy, and Jesus, and we're going to make him Serapis. You know, or it's not even Hercules. I think it's Dionysus. I think it's Dionysus, Ptolemy, and Jesus, and you make Serapis. That's what the Greeks did. And when the Romans took over, the Romans didn't have any antiquity. So the antiquity of the Romans was to merge it with the Greeks and everybody else. So that's just their process, and they won. They were the victors of that time frame, and their work survived. That's another thing. Does your work survive? There are civilizations who wrote stuff, did stuff, but their work didn't survive. So when these people win these battles, win these situations, they conform the teachings, the understanding to themselves. Because if you went back 5,000 years ago, if you was back in 5,000 years, now maybe 5,000 years is too long. I don't know. Let's not do the math. If you was back in 330 BCE or 330 BCE in Egypt, Ptolemy is taking over, and then you had kids, and your kids grew up in a Hellenistic Egypt, then your kids would believe that 100%. They will believe in Serapis 100%. If you was in Rome during the 30s, you would believe in Mithra or Dionysus or Apollo or Jupiter. You would believe in them 100%. There is absolutely nothing you could have done to convince somebody in ancient Rome or ancient Greece that the Oracle of Delphi, that Jupiter, that Hera, that they didn't exist and that they didn't play a part in the lives of man. There's absolutely nothing. And they would have said, we have proof because this oracle, this writing, the writing by the oracle of this place and the oracle of that place says it to be true. Matter of fact, an oracle predicted and told Pythagoras' mother that she would have a child, and that child would go on to do great and wonderful things and change the world and be a savior, a messiah to Greece. And he was born, and he did do wonderful things, and he did come back to Greece and take them away from a conquering king who was evil and save his land of Greece. I think it was Croton. He did, and he did exactly that. And it is written that he could change the weather by strumming his lyre and change people's mindset and their emotions. And it's written. It's written. Now today we'll say, oh, it's myth and mythology and exaggeration and all that. But 2,000 years from now, people will say the same thing about the Bible, the Vedics, the Torah, about all these other books as well. They'll say the same thing. The exact same thing. Because by then, we would certainly have found other ancient civilizations. There will be, the world will be completely different. Most countries that we have today won't exist. There'll be some other variations of countries. Who knows? The Vatican may be, completely run over, and somebody who conquers Italy may conquer the Vatican and go in and reveal to the world the entire Vatican library. And by revealing the entire Vatican library, it would greatly change the knowledge of the world. And who knows, maybe all the writings from the Library of Alexander weren't destroyed, but are hidden away in the Vatican library, and all that information is now revealed to the public, and that would change the intelligence and the scope and the history of the entire world. And generations would grow up knowing that information. And they would strongly disagree with what you believe today. Because the conqueror, the winner, gets to tell their story. The oppressed in ancient times really didn't get to tell their story. But as time has went on, they've been able to tell their story. And we attach ourselves to that. In your journey, don't worry about someone telling you, prove this to me, prove that to me. This is the truth. You don't know the truth. Don't worry about their insults. I don't even bother with 90% of their comments because it is not worth my time. Now, when I have those who comment and they have genuine questions, they have genuine thoughts, they have genuine ideas, the things that are worth consideration, those are the ones who get my time, and those are the ones who should get your time. I would not waste my time. If you waste it, the only thing that we all have equally is time. Why would you waste it on someone who is dead set against you? That is not good time management. That is not good development. Oprah just recently said that it is far better to spend her time being in the light than being in the darkness. That by reacting to darkness with darkness is so much more difficult. It's just too difficult. So why would I spend that time doing that? It's like you could choose to spend your time with a new love that is bringing you happiness and joy, or you can choose to spend that time arguing and fighting with an ex. Why would I spend time debating someone that is endless and frivolous when I can spend that time sharing information with people of like mind, people who we are gelling with one another, we're growing with one another? Why would I spend that time going back and forth with someone whose point is to just argue, and who believes that no matter what is said, what is proven, they're just going to do and believe what they believe? And if it's counter to mine and there's no point of resolution, then what's the point? There isn't one. You're just wasting my time, and I'm not going to do that. And nor should you. You should not waste your time. You should not waste your time. Wasting your time is akin to procrastination. And when you do such things, you find yourself losing. You lose. The cost is too great. The cost is way too great. If I spent my time going back and forth in communication with someone who has already decided what their truth is, then why should I waste that time? Because I could have got work done during that time. I could have had conversation with my children during that time. I could have had conversation with my lady during that time. I could have accomplished some other work that's paying me during that time. Why should I waste it? And nor should you. On your journey, understand and learn how to spend your time wisely with yourself. Understand how to spend your time wisely with others. Do not waste your time trying to prove what you believe to other people. Instead, just continue to grow and develop your divinity within, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, is your personal relationship with yourself and your true divinity, with your divinity, and how that divinity interacts with the universe and those around you. At the end of the day, spending that time with someone else, arguing with someone else, benefits you not. Like I said, if you want to be in love and have a great and joyful life, why are you spending it arguing with an ex? Why are you arguing with an ex? Why are you giving that ex your energy, giving that ex your time? What is the benefit of it? There is none. So as you go through your journey, don't get caught up in the blackwash, whitewash. Don't get caught up in cultural winners and cultural losers. Don't get caught up in trying to affiliate your emotion and your current state with those that you can relate to at some given historical point. Instead, look inside yourself and grab onto your divinity, and then choose the life that you will have for yourself. Choose the life that is for you. Choose the life to be who you want to be. When you're trying to match up to history, trying to match up to a culture, trying to match up to somebody else's idea, remember what Kierkegaard said: when you label me, you negate me. And when you label me, then I gotta live up to your labels. And as soon as you start to live up to somebody else's labels, then you lose yourself. You lose your divinity. Your divinity is too great to lose. You are too great to lose. Don't allow someone else to determine who you are and who you should be. But the greatest thing is you deciding who you are, who your I am is. And when you decide who your I am, and you start moving your me into becoming that I am, then you become who you decided to be. That is why there's the rich and the poor. That is why there's the successful and the unsuccessful. That is why there's the in love and the not in love, the spouse and the non-spouse. Because they decided who they are, who they're going to be. The moment you decide who you are, who you're going to be, and that no other plan or no other person can determine that but you, then you have truly hit on becoming your I am. So remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable.